Ladies and gents, welcome back. Hey, here we are, back again on another Friday. This time it's a special Friday. It was a day off for a lot of people. I hope everyone had a restful day off or got paid that extra overtime if you did work. Today, of course, is Veterans Day. It's Remembrance Day here in Canada. This is a time that we take to, honor the people. This is an interesting one. I had to explain this to my daughter. She's 8 years old today. And I sat her down so I could have this conversation about what Remembrance Day means and what it's all about. And I think it's important that we teach our kids this. Obviously, our schools are lacking in that department, but I think it's very I think it's very intriguing to a child to have these conversations with their parent about it. And I think that it's maybe intriguing is not the word for it. It's a must. It's a must anyway. So I sat my daughter down and I said, hey, we live in a relatively free country. We have the ability to make choices. We have the ability to do all these things, to trade freely amongst each other. We have the ability to speak. Well, we almost have free speech. I mean, we're still fighting for this. But I wanted to emphasize, and I asked her, I said, do you know what a veteran is? And she said she didn't know what that meant. I said, do you know what a soldier is? And she knew that. She's the people that march. And I said, they do more than march. Yeah, they fight. She didn't understand it. So I had to explain it at length. To the best that you can to an 8-year-old. And I felt it was very important to put this by her so she could understand it on a level that she could get. But understanding that people fought, died, fought and injured themselves, came back with psychological damage, all these issues, that the sacrifices that people went through for us to live in the lifestyle and the ability to choose our own, manifest our own destiny. This is all because of the sacrifices that people have made, that have come before us, that people are making today, that are putting themselves in harm's way for everyone's freedoms and for everybody. And I think it's important to teach our kids this, and I took today as an opportunity to do just that, and let my children realize how much better they have it because of the sacrifices of people that came before and the continuous sacrifice that people are making. So to all the veterans out there, I want to sincerely thank every one of you, even the ones that disagree with me politically, even the ones that get on social media and say really horrible things to people. If you sacrificed, thank you for your service. I just want to put that out there right at the beginning of the stream. Sorry I don't want to get too heavy on that. Because we're here to have a community moment together, but I wanted to definitely start it off with that in particular. It is Remembrance Day, and we shall remember the sacrifices that people have made. Absolutely. Jelly Duck, thank you so much for upping your membership. Thank you. And I have an addition to the stream. I had to update my software and all that. And on a day when you update your software, that's when everything messes up on you and you have to do a lot of stuff and change a lot of things around. So a little bit of stuff changed around on the channel here because of that. But one cool addition is, whoa, I got the chat right here on the screen. So that's really cool. I can interact with the chat with you guys right here. And not only that, people who are watching this after the fact don't have to necessarily pay attention to the chat. That's a lot of times down in the description. That you can review, but I'll have the chat right here for everybody to see. And yeah, we can definitely put that out there. Did you see Jeremy McKenzie's post today from prison? Very good. I did. Lots of people sharing that one out. I did see that one. Very, very strong, good message from him. Looks fancy, by the way. Yeah, it is. Don't you like fancy? Fancy's great. You gotta get that fancy in there. Anyway, for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, this is the live chat. It may be the long form content for you guys if you're watching this after the fact, but every Friday at 6:30 Pacific time, that's 9:30 Eastern for all those people that just don't like to do conversions for themselves. I live in the West Coast, so I used Western time zones. I know this country is Ontario, Quebec centric, and they love to consider themselves the center of the universe. But yes, there are other time zones. I start my streams at 6:30 on the West Coast. Enjoy that. But this is a thing I like to do every week at the end of the week to give back to the community. You guys are so great to me. You watch all the videos. You tune in as I talk about news stories that I find important to me throughout the week, and I love to put that out there for you guys. Get the chat back in here. Deborah McDonald gifting the 5 Clyde Do Something memberships. Thank you, Deborah. And lucky 5 people out there getting new memberships to the channel. And it's great. The memberships are a fantastic way. There's YouTube sets this up. You can, I think it's $4.99 a month. You can be a member of the channel, but it gives you all kinds of other cool little features during the live streams. We included some different things, including emojis that are now accessible to anybody who has that membership role. Unacceptable Fringe with a $25 super chat. Shameless plug, new book out early and is live. Go do something, Clyde, and get that review out. Let's get it to number 1. Well, I got to get the book. And then we'll go over it. That's awesome to hear that it's live. I heard you were having some trouble with that. And we'll get that book over here and we'll shill it out for you. Absolutely. That's definitely what I'm gonna do. Have you got a link for it? Can you put a link in the chat, Derek? That would be something to do. Loving all the dumpster fires in the chat. Awesome. So yeah, I always get greedy with the topics before these live streams. Sorry. Anyway, I was talking about the live streams. This is a live stream format. It happens at this time. For all of you that are here now, awesome. Thanks for joining in as it's happening. But yeah, I got a little greedy when it came to the topics. I hope I can cover most of this stuff. I tend to get into a lot of it and then miss some of the others. But maybe that's a good thing. I give myself too much to talk about. So I mean, it's easy to fill 2 hours. Usually, I'm never struggling to stretch it out or anything like that. I usually don't end up getting to everything. But that's amazing. Quick little thing in the chat. Everybody, put where you're from. Put where it is that you're coming from. Now let's see all the different places. Now that we got the chat in here with me, everybody else can check it out. China to now. Hi from Alberta. Friday night, bud. Good choice. Absolutely. Thank you. Toronto, Canada, Newfoundland, Hamilton. Whoa, okay, here goes the chat. Brantford, Ontario, Vancouver, Calgary, Oregon. We got our American brothers. We got Saskatoon, Beaumont. I can't keep up with that. Come on. What are you doing? Third rock from the sun. Yep. We are the third rock from the sun. Mission, BC, Ontario. Alexandria, Ontario. Terrace, BC. Niagara, Ontario. Alberta, we got Bathurst, New Brunswick, Cranbrook, Regina, Alberta, Newfoundland, Philippines. Wow, Winnipeg. I notice a majority of the audience that tunes to this channel is Canadian. It's a funny thing because when Bill C-11 comes into play, I don't know if I'll be deemed Canadian enough, even though I'm Canadian. Majority of people who watch this channel are Canadian. But hey. Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. That's where I originally came from. I was born there. Moved to Windsor when I was 8, and then got the heck out of Windsor as soon as I could. West Coast. It's the weather's a lot more bearable out here, and let me tell you. Wakanda. Wow, coming all the way from Wakanda to check out the stream here. Awesome. Oshawa, Ontario. Sackville, New Brunswick. Wow, okay. St. Lawrence River. The St. Lawrence River. That seaway. Beautiful, beautiful country. Love it. Love it. Let's get into some of these things. I want to talk about some stuff, but I want to get over some of the memes because the memes are just, they kill me every time. They kill me. And so what I like to do is I'll share the memes that people put in the Discord channel. If you don't know Discord, there's a link in the description down below. It's another social media site. It's great. We have a server there. People can hang out. There's lots of different chat rooms depending on the categories, and they have really excellent voice and video. So it's great. I go there at the end of all these streams on Friday. We all hang out, have some wobbly pops. I have my soda water on YouTube, and then we go over to have some wobbly pops in the Discord. But yeah, definitely go check that out. But in there is the memes channel where everybody shares their memes, and I love to share some of these ones out. Let's get into some of these. Oh, and you might notice a little bit of a change. The wood paneling's gone, and that's because of some of the Discord changes. I couldn't get the fisheye effect going, so it's just normal web browser. Anyway, we'll check out this without the old nostalgic wood grain anymore. Not for the next little bit, anyway. I love this one because everybody knows that the Twitter thing. You can get verified, which I'm a little peeved about. You can get verified if you're a Twitter Blue member, but only if you bought your Twitter Blue from iPhone. I'm an Android user, so I bought Twitter Blue ahead of time, and, well, I'm not eligible because of the device I use. Interesting that. Anyway, an $8 costed Big Pharma billions. Absolutely based. I love this. This is wild. Yesterday, a fake Twitter account tweeted that Eli Lilly and company was giving insulin for free. It was verified on Twitter, which, I mean, anyone can get verified now. Lilly now down 5%, or roughly down near $20 billion. That is insane. That's absolutely insane, and I think it's hilarious. Those guys can go stuff it, because I don't feel sorry for the pharmaceutical industry at all. Not at all. Free Lilly. I like that. Free Lilly. Let's check out what else we got here. Tesla now. This is Tesla Real, at Tesla Real, a verified account here. We will be offering 10,000 vehicles to support the Ukrainian military. Our cars are the most advanced of explosive devices on the market. Unbelievable. Redneck with the $10 super chat. Yay, emojis. Yeah, emojis are great. We got some more. Hopefully we can get you some more out there. I don't think I've hit the max yet, so just thinking about some of the other ones that we can put out there. The government is just a business with no incentive to deliver agreed upon services because their customers pay them under threat of incarceration. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Interesting observation there. Clyde be upgrading. A little bit. Things are happening. Why don't you trust the experts? And then the TV says, we, the experts, were wrong. Now do climate change. Absolutely. I'd love to see that. Love to see that. And of course, Biden Fetterman 2024. It's a no-brainer. Kills me. I can't believe they actually elected that Fetterman guy. Didn't he have an actual stroke? The guy was completely out to lunch. And I'm hearing kids trying to get in the room here. I think mom's got him. Okay, good. Oh, crazy days these days. A no-brainer. Absolutely. What else we got? Potato or Amy Schumer? Really hard to tell. I don't know why I included this. It just made me laugh so hard. Yeah, it's watch out, watch your pantry. Cancel the Disney. This, of course, Chrystia Freeland, as she came out saying that she knows the struggle. She knows, the struggle that the Canadian moms are dealing with, and yeah, she had to cancel her Disney. And that's what moms should do, during this inflationary period. Just cancel your Disney. I know it's only a couple of bucks, but it goes a long way. After they've inflated the crap out of our currency. That's absolutely it. So here's the the free Disney free Disney Plus donuts for the unemployed lineup. Unreal. 2 days without Disney Plus. We still can't afford food. Send DVDs. People really killing it on this one. Chrystia Freeland just absolutely not getting it. When the ride isn't even over yet and you already want to speak to the manager. Oh, what is with these women that just are so angry all the time? I don't get it. I just don't get it. There's no such thing as government funded. It's all taxpayer funded, and that's based. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that at all. It's taxpayer funded, but it's not funded by taxpayers today. No, sirree. It's taxpayers that haven't even been born yet. Think about it. It's taxpayers that haven't even been born yet. It's your kids that are going to be paying for the spending we're doing today. That is the reality of the situation. Remember to connect the male to female. Why assign gender roles to electrical connections? Let the circuits decide their own identities. That'll end well. Absolutely. And here's Chrystia Freeland rolling up on the food bank. As a working mom myself, I can totally relate. I totally get it. Let's not forget she's the finance minister. She's in charge of the spending in our country. Yeah, I can totally relate. Get rid of that Disney Plus. Then maybe you'll be able to pay your mortgage. This one killed me. Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries. What happened to monkeypox? Whatever happened to that darn monkeypox again anyway? What ended up happening to that? We haven't heard about monkeypox in a hot minute, have we? No, we haven't. And a WEF member. Yeah. Chrystia Freeland, no doubt. We need to forgive each other for what we said during the pandemic. No, we don't. No forgiveness. It doesn't come like that. That's not how this works. Not at all. And I love this one. Me watching the next 36 hours unfold. This, of course, because of the midterm elections happening down in the United States, of which I think were hilarious for a lot of reasons, and kind of pretty disappointing, actually, for the most part. We thought it was going to be a red wave, and that's not what we experienced. Let's have a look. Like, what did this red wave look like? It was supposed to be a tsunami. I'm not seeing a tsunami here. What do we got here? Deborah McDonald, a $5 super chat. WTF, I missed the murder hornets. Yeah, the murder hornets. Those pesky Asian murder hornets that were coming over. We gotta watch out for them too. Always with the fear, always with the just making everybody afraid. But here we are. Election results in the U.S. This is we were expecting a red wave. It's sitting here now like this. This is last updated 9:49 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, do I have to refresh or something? Has it changed since this? Let's see. We've got tied for the Senate seats. 1 seat gained on the Democratic side, 1 seat lost on the Republican side. Ugh, you got the House. I'm not sure what's going on. I've not been paying a ton of attention to this. I know a lot of people would want me to talk about it, at least address it. I haven't been paying a ton of attention. This is apparently not everything was up for grabs in this election. So in the Senate, not every state was voting, like Texas and Michigan, all of that is like they weren't voting on this. It's a joke, says Adam. Yeah, it's lots of people saying it's rigged, but it's so funny. It's so funny because the Democrats were jumping out ahead of time saying they're rigging it, and then here it is. This is I don't know what's going on here, but I know that the governor races. Yeah, one state lost by the Republicans, gained one state by the Democrats. This seems really, really fishy. This seems really, really fishy in my humble opinion. But who knows? Who knows? It was supposed to be a red wave, and it was like that's all we got. That's all we got. A little splash in the pond. But there was some fun stuff that came out of this. This Carrie Lake lady, I thought was really funny in her rhetoric. I understand she won. She won in her race, but she went hard against journalists. And I think it's low-hanging fruit, and it's great because people love it. Journalism as a whole, like, let's just put it this way. Journalism as a whole, the journalists have been really... how can I put it without swearing? They've been crapping the bed as of some time now. Like I look back, I think like back to like 2004, but then 2016 they were really just out to lunch, and then well, it's been crazy. We saw it during the Freedom Convoy specifically. There was a Carrie Lake wave, but going after the mainstream prostitutes, that's it. You go after the urinalists. They've been doing such a bad hit piece propaganda warfare against the middle class that you can win over giant swaths of people for just going after the propagandists that are out there. And this just cracks me up so much. We got to watch this clip.
Carrie, who are you? Chris Van Fleet from CBS News. I want to just follow up on his question, if I may. If Donald Trump announces, as expected, to be president, and you win the governorship of Arizona, you're likely to be talked about as a VP candidate. Do you plan to serve your entire term in Arizona, or are you open to being the VP?
Are you new covering this race? Because we've talked about this before. We've talked about this. I've answered these questions. I am going to not only be the governor of Arizona for 4 years, I'm going to do 2 terms. I'm going to be your worst freaking nightmare for 8 years. And we will reform the media as well. We're going to make you guys into journalists again. So get ready. It's going to be a fun 8 years. I can't wait to be working with you guys.
For the
Oh, I love it.
Who are you?
Oh, wait, get out of here. Get out of here. I got to just pause it. Deborah McDonald with the $10 super chat. Go Carrie Lake. I have property in Arizona. That's awesome. That's awesome. But totally going after the fake news apparatus. They are terrible. Here's this one tops it though. This one is the icing on the cake, and she strong arms this reporter. Like, check it out. Like, she pulls her in. It's great. It's great.
Hi.
Carrie.
Hi.
Nice to see you. John Law from CNN.
You don't have a mask on anymore. What's going
we're
on?
outside. Do you have a minute to
Well,
chat?
we're 6 feet apart.
Do you have a minute to chat?
I'll do an interview.
Okay.
As long as it airs on CNN Plus. Does that still exist? I didn't think so, because the people don't like what you guys are peddling, which is propaganda. Thank you.
Just totally shreds that one. Oh, absolute shredder right there. I'd love to do an interview with you, but only if it's on CNN Plus. For those of you who don't know, CNN Plus was their attempt at doing digital first media. And well, nobody wanted to watch it. They sunk, I can't remember how many millions of dollars. It was like I believe it was in the hundreds of millions of dollars. CNN sunk into this CNN Plus. It was supposed to be, CNN, but on the internet exclusive CNN. And well, nobody wanted to watch it. I believe they got something like 20,000 subscribers to the thing. About 20,000 people signed up for something that cost them in the hundreds of millions of dollars to put together. But that was, CNN Plus. A lot of fun. It was just hilarious, to be honest. Total crap. Anyway, Carrie Lake here, just pulling her in. And I got to show you this. The way she pulls her in, when talking about the COVID thing. Oh, you're not wearing a mask. Come here. We were 6 feet apart. It's just so good.
Hi. Hi.
Nice to see you. Count off and CNN.
You don't have a mask on anymore. What's going
We're
on?
outside. Do you have a minute to
Well,
chat?
we're 6 feet apart.
Do you have a minute to chat?
I'll do an interview.
Okay.
As long as it airs on CNN Plus. Does that still exist? I didn't think so, because the people don't like what you guys are peddling, which is propaganda. Thank you.
Oh, shot down, and just beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch as just torn apart by Carrie Lake there. She ended up winning her district. She was running and she won. People love that message. I mean, it wasn't that hard in the state of Arizona because there's a lot of people that lean towards the rule of law and someone who's going to come in and bring a platform of law and order. I mean, most people, that's what most of us would like to see out of a governor. So that's, I just can't believe it. I can't get over it. But of course, the media going in to attack her. And this was a really funny hit piece that it kind of hits on a bunch of different levels. And I think we'll walk through it here. And this is on MSNBC. They got their YouTube channel there. But this guy, I don't know who this guy is. He's Rachel Maddow's twin brother or something. But he's an anchor there. And well, let's just get into it because I'm gonna have to break it apart. There's a bunch of stuff that he gets into here.
Just hours after the attack on the husband of the Speaker of the House by a suspect who, by his own account, according to federal court filings, believed in a bunch of right-wing conspiracy theories, the usual suspects are already spreading spin, misinformation, and cover for the Republican Party.
Okay, that right off the bat. Anyway, Redneck, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Arizona is done. They would need a month to count, like in 2020. Yeah. I think it was pretty obvious who won in that race. I don't think they're done across the board. There's other stuff that they got to count, but I think Carrie Lake was pretty pretty much a landslide victory there. But yeah, getting into this. So right off the bat, saying what happened with Nancy Pelosi's husband. Hammer time. Let's just call it hammer time. Everybody's running cover for the Republicans right away. That's what this guy's claiming right off the bat.
If we have a situation where this is politically motivated, you have to step back and say, why is our country so divided? President Biden, you got up to the podium and said you were going to bring us together.
People may be quick to make leaps to certain events in the past, certain political ideologies, what may have driven this person. We can't make those leaps, and we shouldn't make those leaps because we just don't know at this point that this person could have been motivated by just about anything. We don't know.
We do not know all the information.
No.
I mean, we obviously hope Paul Pelosi's okay. That's the bottom line of the whole thing. But doesn't add up. Something doesn't make
It'll
sense.
take a while to figure it out.
Okay. Before this guy gets into his thing, let me get into something. When a Democrat gets attacked in their home the first thing the other side, the other partisan side is going to try to do is run cover. They're going to try to run cover, and the other side is going to try to blame the other side, right? That's how it goes. But what's interesting is what comes next. So Fox News and all the partisans on one side go to run cover for it, saying, we just don't know. We don't know what's going on in the situation. We have no information yet what's happening. What does this guy say? What does he say?
Okay, so there's a few things going on there, right? You can say, well, we don't have the information when it's early enough. Fine. The doesn't add up is a little questionable. What do you mean by that? But then the doesn't add up very quickly becomes and became just completely disgusting responses to the attack on Paul.
Well, before we go into what he thinks is a disgusting attack, what I do know is when I heard the news right away, I was in the chat with some of the people that I have in the background that help me find news stories and whatnot. And, started looking into it immediately as soon as we found out about the attack. And what? Let me guess. Left-wing publications were going off the charts talking about how this guy had ties to the alt-right and this guy had ties to this and that. Well, that's where they ran with it. Instead of saying, we just don't know. We just don't know. So the partisans on one side were saying, we just don't know. And the partisans on the other side were immediately going to say, this guy is some right-wing nut job. He, whatever, trying to find anything they can on the guy. What did it turn out? What did it turn out to be? It turned out that, you guessed it, he's a homeless dude who's a crazy lefty, ties to a bunch of left-wing stuff. And it may or may not be the case that he was there for some intimate reasons that I don't know any truth to or anything like that. But there are some allegations for why he was even in the house or got past the security. But they were having hammer time in the Pelosi house. But here's what's so disgusting now that some of that truth's been coming out and you can't go blaming the the other side. What's disgusting?
And became just completely disgusting responses to the attack on Paul Pelosi. Some of which were retweeted by sitting United States Senator and podcaster Ted Cruz. Some were said.
What did Cruz say? I don't know what the hell happened at Nancy Pelosi's house, but I suspect none of us will ever know for sure. Well, hey, maybe that is true. But I know what I'm trying to paint a hippie nudist from Berkeley as some kind of militant right-winger is absurd and will always be absurd. Whoa, is that disgusting? Or maybe a little bit true? I don't know. Where do we go with that one? Where do we go with that one? Where else does it go?
Out loud by Arizona's Republican gubernatorial nominee, Carrie Lake, to get a big laugh on the campaign trail.
It is not impossible to protect our kids at school. They act like it is. Nancy Pelosi, well, she's got protection when she's in D.C. Apparently her house doesn't have a lot of protection.
That is funny.
The guy interviewing her had to cover his face with the notes because he thought that was so funny.
It was funny, though. It was funny. It was funny. A person who has the most security in the world, or like it should have the most, and they do, had a guy come in with a hammer and attack their husband in their house. That lends to jokes. Redneck with a $5 super chat. Intimate hammer time. I'm out. Please don't put that on a t-shirt. Intimate hammer time. Yeah, well, that happens. That happens, apparently. That's too good. Oh, that's too good right there. I'm not going to say what that says out loud. But yeah, some intimate hammer time. Anyway, too disgusting to lean partisan. This guy getting on his moral high horse. As we can see exactly how this was going. But yeah, of course, partisans are going to be partisans. And That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And it cracks me up. I don't know what else to comment about the whole situation with the US midterm elections. The midterm elections, well, seem a little disappointing, to be honest. I thought we were going to lose the wokeness, which is what the Dems have been bringing, and bring a little bit. And please don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not 100% on the Republican side. I think there are tons of Republicans that are just abhorrent to me. Abhorrent. But it is a lesser of two evils situation in the US right now when it comes to a lot of that. And midterm elections? Sorry? Or was that okay? These were the elections or whatever, November elections that we're having. Do you not call those midterms? Is that not what we say? Sorry, Joe's pointing. Midterm elections. Yeah, the midterm of the presidency. So that's the elections that happen during that time. The selections. Oh, sorry. Midterm selections. Okay, that's what you're getting at. Oh, I see. Yeah, a lot of people are not having a lot of faith in the electoral process right now, and this I think is read it again. I did. My bad. I think this is the kind of thing that comes up and it causes people to lose faith in the system, and we can't have that. We can't have people, because that's a black pill, and I don't want to black pill people. I want people to have faith in the system of governance that we have. And if we can't have faith in that, well, then that's a lot of bad news right there. Because then, I mean, don't even want to go there. Because they say ballots, not bullets, right? And I don't want that to be anything that we have to even consider. But yeah, faith no more, no faith. That's it's tough. It's tough. If there's cheating going on, we can expect there to be cheating in some way or another, whether it's illegal or not. So like gerrymandering is a tactic it's kind of cheating. There are tactics that they have to get people to not be able to vote by making new rules around your address based on your where you can vote and whatnot, let alone some of the other sketchy cheating things like filling out ballots for people who aren't you, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure where it's going to go. You're not allowed to on YouTube make any claims of this kind of thing. I think you can. You're allowed to if it goes one way, but if it goes the other way, you're not allowed to. That's an interesting phenomenon, and that's just something we have to deal with at this point. Just reinforces my opinion that you should strengthen ties with your loved ones. Spend quality time as much as possible. Absolutely. I agree with that. But does that have to do with elections? That kind of threw me off. That's it. Send in the right-wing bee swarm. California here used to be Washington State. But yeah, I don't know how much I can put on that. I haven't been following US politics since January. When January hit, that was like when I was like, no way. I'm paying attention 100% to what's going on right here in this country. And it's insane what we've been not paying attention to, because we've been focusing on what's happening in the United States. So many Canadians know more about American politics than they do Canadian politics, and this is what I'm trying to change. I'm trying to bring a lot more people into the focus of what's going on right here in our own country, and then also bringing a focus to our American friends around the world on what's going on here in Canada, because, well, the Freedom Convoy was much of an inspiration to a lot of people out there. So what's one thing that's happened recently? Well, Danielle Smith captured a victory in Brooks Medicine Hat in her by-election. Smith to return to the legislature with electoral win on Tuesday night. And that's something that happened right here in Canada, right in Alberta. And a lot of Albertans very happy about this. Very happy not to get who else was in there. Or getting Kenny back. Kenny's gone. A lot of people are happy about that. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is back in the legislature, winning a seat more than 7 years after she left. Smith defeated 4 opponents Tuesday to win the by-election in the constituency of Brooks Medicine Hat in southeastern corner of the province. I just want to thank all the voters in Medicine Hat. Brooks putting faith in me. For putting faith in me. This is more than a victory party. This is a start of something much bigger, Smith told cheering supporters. It's our declaration that Alberta is worth fighting for, and make no mistake from what you saw from the results today. We certainly have a fight ahead of us. You can choose Rachel Notley and put the NDP increasingly takes their orders from Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau at the federal level, or you can choose United, Confident, and Energized UCP. Smith won by taking 54% of the votes cast. NDP candidate Gwendolyn Dirk was second, while Barry Morshita of the Alberta Party was third. So this is a win, and honestly, I think it's great because of what a lot of her stances are. Personally, she backpedaled and did the Hail Ukraine thing, and I'm not for that. I'm just not for wars. People want to say that I'm pro Russia. I'm not pro Russia. I'm just not pro wars and promoting wars and all that stuff. Peace deals were so close until they started pushing them into further war. I think there's a war machine. And this is why I say, like, a bunch of the Republican Party I disagree with, because, like, there's such a war machine factor in there, and I just can't agree with that stuff. But some of her other stances are fantastic. They even tried to point at her for mentioning about the the World Economic Forum. They mentioned that she is against having the World Economic Forum influencing our politics. They came at her with oh, so you're like Alex Jones, right? Well, that turned into her snapping back at it. They're trying to make anyone who talks about the World Economic Forum as a conspiracy theorist. They're a lobby group that has a lot of pull. A lot of politicians go to the events for this lobby group, and they have clear anti-democratic standpoints and an agenda that they're pushing that's anti-democratic. It's not just not democratic or a-democratic. It's actively anti-democratic. It's saying that they go in and they infiltrate the cabinets to sway in their favor, not to go in the favor of the electorate. They're anti-democratic. So anyone who pushes back against the World Economic Forum for these reasons, I fully support. Yeah, I know there are people out there that believe some crazy stuff, but this is not crazy. It's not crazy to think that a lobby group that clearly states that they're anti-democratic and have pull, that we should as voters and constituents in this country should have a say in whether or not they can come to the table. Deborah McDonald, thank you so much for gifting 5 more memberships to the channel. That's amazing. We got 5 more people in here that have the ability to not only have those beautiful emojis that you can put in the chat, but also the Discord. If you have your YouTube linked to Discord, it gives you another role in the Discord that we're working on, giving new things for new perks for that. So glad to see people using it and utilizing it for well, all the entertainment purposes that are the perks here. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Absolutely. But what else have we got to talk about here? We've got Trudeau. Of course, everyone loves to tune in when I talk about Trudeau on the channel, but Trudeau is missing. He's going to miss National Remembrance Day ceremony due to a summit in Colombia. Well, he's all about appeasing world leaders and worldly things, globalist pushes, but can't stay back for the veterans to show respect and honor our veterans. No. He's just going to take off and he's going to do some other thing. Yeah, Trudeau is such a douche. Absolutely. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is accompanied by his wife, Sophie Gregory Trudeau. Ooh, she's one of those, didn't take the name. Oh. As he places a wrench at the National War Memorial during a National Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa, Thursday, November 11th, 2021. The Canada Free Press showed that image. But yeah, no, not on this year's Remembrance Day. Ottawa Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will miss Friday's National Remembrance Day ceremony in Ottawa to attend a summit in Cambodia involving countries from across Southeast Asia. Wait, why? What? Senior officials revealed the Prime Minister's planned absence during a not for attribution background briefing. Says Trudeau will leave late Thursday for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations meeting in Phnom Penh. The ASEAN summit, which is scheduled to start on Saturday, is starting on Saturday. And you can't. Is the first of 4 international meetings that Trudeau will attend over 10 days. We will also attend the G20 in Indonesia, the APEC meeting in Thailand, and Francophone Summit in Tunisia. Francophony. He's a Francophony, that's for sure. The Prime Minister's office said in a statement that the summits will advance our priorities. And Trudeau is attending alongside other world leaders, including the United Kingdom, United States, and France. And I bet you if it happened on Veterans Day in the United States, any of the officials would have said, sorry, can't make it. If it happened in the United Kingdom on Veterans Day, they would have said, sorry, can't make it. I'm curious to find out what's going on there. The Prime Minister's met with serving military. I'm tired of reading this. This is the gist of what's going on there. And, well, that's that. Sophie must have got a Gucci bag with some to go with him. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, he's a Francophony. What is that? What is that? Like the guy he stepped on everybody. He stepped on everybody in this country at this point. I mean, he won't speak with protesters that come all the way out if they're against his cause. He won't even address them. But it drives me. It absolutely drives me. Canadian veterans get treated better in America than Canadian veterans do in Canada. I agree with that, Jasper. Yeah, absolutely. And well, as we've seen, they get offered from Veterans Affairs maid service if they're suffering from PTSD and other injuries. That is, I don't even know how to get into. I don't want to get started on that. It's just going to turn into a very angry rant, and I don't want to take it in that direction. I want to show respect for the veterans on Veterans Day, on Remembrance Day here, and yeah, I'm sorry. It gets me too upset. But here's Trudeau in his own words here talking about, just let him have
Talking with people who think differently from us is how we challenge ourselves. Can you explain the reason why you won't participate or meet with them? I mean, you've attended rallies on the Hill in the past, including during a Black Lives Matter protest and others. Is there a reason that you can give as for why you will not discuss or have any negotiations with this particular group?
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues.
We are here out of love for our families, our communities, and our nation.
Never forget. There's a lot to break down in this clip, right? Market Mania, great channel. Go check them out. There's a lot to break down in this clip. So we need to talk with people that we disagree with. What he's referring to is he's talking about people who don't agree with him. They need to come to the table and talk with him. That's what's going on there. Then he goes on to say that I've met with protesters so long as they had agreeing principles. So long as there are things that I agree with. And then right away you see Tamara Lich talking about just what their ideas were and what it was all about. And clearly he doesn't agree with any of that.
Talking with people who think differently from us is how we challenge ourselves.
Can you explain the reason why you won't participate or meet with them? I mean, you've attended rallies on the Hill in the past, including during a Black Lives Matter protest and others. Is there a reason that you can give as for why you will not discuss or have any negotiations with this particular group?
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues.
We are here out of love for our families, our communities, and our nation.
Never forget. Never forget. Yeah. I just can't believe it. I can't believe the blow off. But what are some of the things that he does support? What are the things he will show up for? What is it? What are the things? I don't know. Maybe.
Bonjour, and welcome to Canada. We're looking for the next global drag superstar. This look is everything.
Who's ready for world domination?
Please help me welcome the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau!
That's horrible. That's horrible. Oh, that's insane. Somebody put this out there. I disavow. I disavow. I disavow. No, it's wrong. This is wrong. Oh, the fact that just people are okay with this. Like, how have we? I've been not paying attention to what goes on cable television for far too long. That this is a show. This is a show, Drag Race, not the kind of drag race that you're thinking of, not V8 engines, going down the track. No, none of that. We're talking about full-blown, just debauchery. So for those that don't know what drag is a burlesque show it's meant to be very adult. It is a very adult thing. And it's men that dress up as women, but not just dress up as women. It's men that doll themselves up to be caricatures of women. It's like, it's woman face, right? It's like the most absurd. And I mean, with all the people getting offended, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care if people involve themselves in this stuff. I want nothing to do with it. But if people want to do this at like clubs or shows or whatever they do, it's a burlesque thing. There's a history of it, and they've been doing it for a long time. The fact that they're trying to make it mainstream, that's a different story. The fact that they're trying to make this a normal thing for people, I can't get behind that. I can't get behind that. And the prime minister of our country involving themselves in this type of debauchery. I just cannot get behind that. There's so many things. There's so many times where you hear it on the news. This is beneath the office of whatever. This is all these different things that people, the behaviors that they do or say, or the things that they say. And people will come out and say, this is beneath the office of the Prime Minister of Canada. This is beneath. What is beneath? What is beneath when this is a thing that we're seeing on national television? This. What is this? What is this? I can't know. What is this? Oh God. And then that's, yeah, this guy's really excited about it. Wow, he's really happy about the Prime Minister of Canada. I don't want to show too much more of this video, but what? No. Beneath or power bottom. Just what would make a petty woman, Lamau, especially black facing. Well, he's woman facing. Or well, he's not. But he's going on a show where people woman face. Now that's a new term that I heard recently, and that was on Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh brought that one up, the woman face thing, and it's true though. It's absolutely true. Is it not woman face to get on stage and pretend to be a caricature of what a woman is? You know, and it's not respectful. It's not respectful in any way. No, it's insane to me. It's absolutely insane. But I mean, this is the way we've been going and how everything has been evolving into different ways. There's a story I wanted to save for later, but I guess we'll get into it right now. Because this is just insane. Anything woman can do, men can do better. Well, hey, let me show you an instance of exactly that. Man, I feel like a woman. Mr. wins Greater Dairy Pageant. Who runs the world? Boys. Sorry, Beyonce. The Miss Greater Dairy Pageant in New Hampshire just selected its winner to compete for the New Hampshire contest. The winner is none other than a biological male. Unreal. Brian Nguyen, I think that's how you pronounce that, Nguyen, has and still is a biological male, yet won the contest for Miss Greater Dairy Scholarship along with a crown and title. He goes by he, her, she, her, hers, according to this person's Instagram. I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube for they call it mispronouncing, I guess. I think that's what they call it. I don't want to get in trouble for it. So I'll just say this individual's Instagram. It makes me laugh that he entered the content. Oh, see, the article's saying this. YouTube, don't get me in trouble. It makes me laugh that this individual entered the contest as a female, yet still went by the name Brian. Maybe the accent was left to keep the name more feminine, I guess. Miss Greater Dairy Scholarship Program was funded in 1986, and this year, its first year of selecting a man to win its scholarship award. Now, this is the thing. This has been the big problem with people claiming that they're of another gender and whatnot coming in. This is the first time where it's actually been of a subjective thing. Like normally, what we've been hearing about has been girls in sports, young ladies in sports, having their scholarships taken from them by competing against biological men that end up getting those scholarships. And that's where you see a lot of motive. There's a lot of motive to get free tuition. Tuition's not cheap. It's very expensive. unless Biden bails everybody out. I thought this was live was for the community. Why do you have to punish us so? Oh, too funny. Too funny. Miss Dairy cannot lactate. Oh, too funny. Too funny. Careful, Clyde. You're on the edge of a rated 13 podcast. I'm not crossing any lines. No way. No way. I'm not crossing any lines. But this is a funny thing. So in this instance, this person won the won this prize, right? And I can just judge it by now. I can just judge it from now. There's a bunch of judges on the panel, and it's one of those you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. The panel that's judging is going, oh no, you're forcing our hand now, right? You're forcing our hand. If we vote for one of the girls, one of the actually pretty girls, like, come on, it's a beauty contest, please. 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 Oh, it's a beauty contest. If they vote for one of the actual pretty girls, they'll come after them. How dare you? How dare you? You're transphobic. All this stuff. But if they vote for this person, then it's going to make national headlines, and then it's an eye roller, right? It's just too funny. It's just too funny because this is where we're at. We're so afraid of offending people. We're so afraid of offending people that this is a beautiful woman. Not just a beautiful woman, the best in Derry, New Hampshire. And it's spelled Derry, like Derry. Derry. But this is the prettiest woman. This is the prettiest woman in Derry, New Hampshire this year. So elegant. Absolutely. But some of the tweets are really funny. Some of the tweets, I couldn't get over this one. So this one's from Libs of TikTok. Biological male won Miss Greater Dairy, which is a beauty pageant in New Hampshire under the name Miss America organization, under Miss America's organization. And then this lady replies, "I'm so glad you circled it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to pick this queen out." Oh, the sore thumb. That is a sore thumb right there. I'm sorry. Oh, glad you circled it. Glad you circled it. Absolutely. Thank you very much. What else? Worked his balls off to get there too. Winner of a women's beauty pageant. Imagine if a female entered the beauty pageant looking like this. And that's what I'm getting at. And again, I'm not throwing shade or hate at this person. Go be you, whatever. The shade goes at the beauty pageant. What do you call it? The judges. The shade goes at them because they didn't have the courage to stand up against the woke mob. And then this is it. This is it. You know what the inevitability is? The inevitability is Miss America is going to be not necessarily this individual, but is going to be someone who's a biological male. Like that's where the slope goes, right? That's where the slippery slope goes. That's where everybody with their cowardice to just stand up for what's true just doesn't say it as it is. Like you gotta say it as it is. You can't do that. Oh, it's unreal. It's unreal. Redneck with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Trudeau's too busy with minors. She allegedly. Well, that's an allegedly thing. I can't make any. I can't attest to that. No, sir. No, sir. I can't even look at these images anymore. I got to get them off my computer screen. It's just too much. It's just way too much. I think this is the only way this happens. The only way that this happens is just that people are cowards. People are too cowardice to stand up. They don't want to lose their position. They don't want to lose their role. So they're like, oh, I can't be that one. I can't be that one. I can't be the one that votes against that poor downtrodden little transgender lady, overweight, build big belly, narrow hips, beautiful pageant winner. Like, it's just unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. But it comes down to people's cowardice. You can't. Brian is the only beauty pageant winner Trudy would be willing to take a photo op with. Because beauty pageants are sexist, right? You can't win in this game. You cannot win in this game. It's, your beauty pageants are sexist until a man gets it. Until a man wins a woman's beauty pageant, now it's no longer sexist. Oh, that's the world we live in. That is the world we live in. Absolutely. Oh, unreal. Oh my gosh. Technically all dice are cow dice. I don't even know what that means. I think we are more afraid of the lawsuit from the person that they didn't vote for them. The judges don't vote for them. So now I have a mental anguish and contemplating maid. Yeah, right. Oh, goodness. It's all your fault, Clyde. It is. I put it up on the screen. And now everybody's laughing about it. This is where we end up. This is absolutely where we end up. I just got to fix my screen here. 1 second. Oops. Making mistakes. Sorry about that. Getting things out there. I'm seeing right now 306 likes, and we got 489 people watching. Can I get another like? One thing that the likes do when you leave a like, it tells the algorithm, hey, this is something I would recommend that other people watch. And then YouTube, in turn, kindly tells other people in similar demographics to you that this is the thing to watch. So do us a favor, hit that like. It'll help keep growing the channel and help us keep putting out more content and more stuff for you guys, and spread the word, because that's really what it's about. And speaking truth in the face of, like, what is this world we're living in right now, where everybody's just out to lunch on a completely other level. And while talking about people being out to lunch, well, the inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act had to go out to lunch a little bit early the other day. And that was due largely to an incident that took place at the inquiry. Now, there was a lawyer for the inquiry. His name is Gabriel. Sorry, it's French, so I think it's pronounced Gabriel, but in English it would be Gabriel. Gabriel Poliquin. Now, he fainted in the middle of the thing, and I've got footage here courtesy of War Campaign. But this is what actually happened. Clyde loves his chat, so why can't we show Clyde? At least we like him back with the like button. Sweet, I appreciate it. Absolutely. So here we are. This is what happened. I believe it was Wednesday, and pretty shocking.
He says that there are 300 commercial CMV, that's commercial vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty shocking. Then it went out. And there we are. Thank you to Rohan Kumar Paul for clipping that. I've been paying attention to these hearings, keeping it in my ear the entire time as they're happening. But So what happened from there? Like lots of things went down from there. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ha, Woot, Bassman. Is that Bassman? With the $10 super chat. Thanks for all the summaries of the Emergencies Act hearing. Beer on me, bud. Cheers to Trudeau resigning and Miss America Clown World. Absolutely. Thank you, Woot Bassman, for the $10 super chat. We got Redneck with the $2 super chat. Misgendering is the proper term. Okay, so it is the proper term. Misgendering people. Unbelievable. But anyway, going into this, and you're welcome. I would say it's my pleasure. It's so rough listening to these testimonies all day long. Yesterday, I actually had the day off yesterday because I had to go down to the city and speak with my accountant, and I had to go to the Japanese embassy. This is something I had planned, and my kids had to suffer through it with me because I had the inquiry in the car the whole time and I'm listening to it, and I had to take breaks to go speak with my accountant. I'm sure you can imagine how thrilling my day was. But this is a thing. There's a bunch of people covering the hearing. We got Damas Promise, we've got Viva Fry, we've got Mr. Sunshine Baby, and we've got War Campaign. If I'm missing anybody, let me know. Because I definitely want to give credit out there, credit where credit's due. All these people are covering it. Ro and Pan are the ones on War Campaign that are coming in and they're putting in that extra work. So they're not just streaming it, but they're actually putting a ton of legwork into this whole inquiry. And again, credit where credit's due. Those guys just killing themselves. Yesterday's hearing went on for 11 and a half hours. 11 and a half hours. That was insane. Insane amount. We had gone back. We'd gone down to the city, went to the embassy, went to do the accounted thing, then took the kids to the park, drove back, had dinner, and we were listening to the inquiry at dinner because it was still going on. That's how crazy that day was yesterday. And I believe that has to do with the fact that it got pushed back, the testimony, because dude passed out. The lawyer passed out at that. Kush Mason with a $2.79 super chat. Thanks for the great real news from Canada. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat. And thanks for tuning in and helping share this around and getting more eyes on it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But anyway, it's really tough. It's really tough covering this. Normally I'm looking at all kinds of stuff, but I've got the inquiry in my ears all day long. I'm trying to truthfully listen to as much of it as humanly possible. And then of course, bringing in people, you've seen lots of people come in throughout the weeks to come in and give their opinions about what's happening on that front as well. So that's definitely Clyde be moving out of Canada? No, I'm not moving out of. Oh, that's not why I was at the embassy. No. So my wife's Japanese, and my kids need to make sure, because they're going to Japan. I'm not going because I have work to do. They're going for a few weeks towards the end of the month here, and we had to get some paperwork done, visa stuff before they head off. So they're going to be going for a couple of weeks. Tokyo is my second home, by the way. I've lived there and we love it there, but staying in Canada, just the family's going for a visit. I'm going to go for a visit in the spring. I'm looking forward to that, because then hopefully I actually have some time to do that. That's the thing. Truthfully, LOL. No, I'm not leaving Canada. I hope that thing come of it. Hail the chat. Yeah, hail the chat. Canadian Constitution Foundation also has great daily summaries. I'll have to check that out. Oh, are you talking about... Oh, now I'm drawing a blank on her name. Oh, no. I I feel bad because I really wanted to invite her onto the show. From the Canadian Constitutional Foundation, I believe that's right. Not Eva Chipiak. Eva Chipiak, she's been on the show a few times. I'll have to get back into that. So Canadian Constitutional Foundation has been giving the updates, and the person who does the videos for that, I'm drawing a blank on her name. She's lovely lady, and she does these. I believe it's for them that she does the updates. But Christine, that's the one, Christine. And I would actually love. I don't know how to reach out to Christine, but I would love to reach out to Christine Van Gyn. That's correct. I would love to reach out to Christine and see if she would come on the channel and do a segment with me to talk about her take on it, because I'm really interested in a lot of different opinions, rather than, you know, the echo chamber of just me and my community. You know, bring people in from the outside, from all over the place, and there we go, and that's the way to go. Jason Levine, independent journalist, live coverage of the inquiry from Paralegal. Oh, okay. I'll have to look into Jason Levine. I'll have to look into that. Sounds interesting. Cush Mason with a $6.99 super chat. Ever heard of Stolen Words Kids book? Teacher is reading to my 6-year-old son. Great book. Not for 6-year-olds though. Heard of it? No, I haven't heard of it. Stolen Words. Stolen Words, a kid's book. I will look into it. Okay, I found it. I'm gonna look into it though. Thank you for the advice there on that one. But where am I going? I'm going way off base here. So we had at the inquiry a lawyer collapse. Now that collapsed lawyer, the lawyer that collapsed, his name is Gabriel Poliquin. Now a lot of people were saying, hey, the guy's like a crazy vaxxer guy. And well, I didn't want to get into that whole thing. That wasn't my prerogative, really. But a lot of people pointing that out on social media. And I talked about it with Tom Marazzo when he was on the channel the other day, right after it happened. And he wasn't at the inquiry, but he's in Ottawa. He's been going regularly to it. But I wanted to talk to him about it. I kind of felt like, why are we asking people? Well, I'll get into that anyway. Oddly, the dude who collapsed at the inquiry is a jabaholic. And this is from Natalia. I gotta fix my browser because it doesn't show all the way. It's not showing all the way to the bottom. This is what happens when you mess up your... I'll have to fix it later. But, yeah, it was not a stroke. No, it was heat stroke. Nobody knows what it was. Nobody knows what it was yet, or I haven't heard yet what it was. But here's this guy on Twitter, and apparently he had been saying stuff like jab to the max and stuff like that. He was a super jabba-dabba-doo. I don't know what you say about these people, but yeah, he was a spreader of science, spread the silence. But this was the thing that was going around. Hello, as Commissioner Rouleau said this morning, I should be up and running in a few days. Thank you for those who have sent me messages of friendship and support. Your humanity and compassion have meant a lot. And well, there's a lot of people who were saying the whole thing about the jab, right? And so I put out a tweet saying the most interesting argument that I heard was that it's nobody's business what this man's vaccine status is, right? People were saying that. It's nobody's business. It's not your business what his vaccine status is. And on that point alone, I'm saying I couldn't agree more. It's nobody's business what somebody's medical status is, right? But isn't that the root of why we're having this inquiry in the first place, right? That's where I was coming from in that. Now, I don't know. Sometimes when you try to be hyperbolic, it doesn't come across always the right way. But Viva Fry piped in and replied to this saying, the most obvious response to that is that it became everyone's business when he began promoting it and publicly announcing his own vaccine status. If he shares information publicly, we can certainly ask this question when something happens publicly. And I'm not disagreeing with what Viva says here at all. I'm not disagreeing with what he says here at all, because what I was saying was a bit of hyperbole, and that's kind of what I was getting at. So I wrote back saying, fair enough, my hyperbolic remark only tries to illustrate how if they hadn't gone so far with their overreaching into people's personal and medical decisions, there never would have been a convoy, let alone an inquiry into the government's response to it. And this is where I stand on this. And, you know, it's funny. It's funny. Some people, they get like, and you know, I was just trying to be hyperbolic. Maybe because he had a whole rant about it, Viva Fry. And I don't disagree with his rant at all. I'm on the same page. I'm on the same page as him. But yeah, my hyperbole and the whole point of what I was saying there is to point out the fact that, hey, if we hadn't had this behavior in the first place, if people hadn't been so nosy, mind their own business, because if you're minding your own business, you won't have the time to mind mine. This is the kind of thing that led to the convoy in the first place. It led to the, 2 years of lockdowns and people being nosy and in people's face and perfectly, like just absolutely going after people. If that hadn't happened, then we wouldn't be having an inquiry where the guy passed out and everybody questions what his vaccine status is. That's what I was getting at. So I don't disagree with Viva Fry. I think a lot of people are asking about it, or not just asking about it, but pointing it out. So Viva Fry was actually pointing out that this lawyer was on Twitter saying, I'm vaxxed to the max and vax me more, daddy, and all this stuff, right? And I don't know if he said that last part, but it might as well, right? If you get right into it. Can I have his portion of bugs? But that's that's funny. But that's it. My purview on this whole thing is everybody should have been in the beginning, from the get-go, minding their own business. What are we doing? What is this world that we're living in? What is this new social contract where everybody gets to be in everybody else's business? I disagree with it entirely, and I feel bad for the guy. I do. I genuinely do. I hope he has a full, speedy recovery. I don't wish that stuff on people, but I wish they didn't wish it on us. That's what I gotta say about that. And I don't know if he wished it upon us, but a lot of people did, and it really irks me to the nth degree. But you know what else irks me? Is the fact that we're still living in Canada in this stupid theater of pandemic BS. The rest of the world has moved on. We shouldn't be dealing with this, but we always have to have this thing right on us telling us what we need to be doing and what our kids need to be doing. And this just gets my blood boiling, son. And here's good old turd face, Mr. Dress Up himself, Justin Trudeau, telling everybody what they should be doing and having his little moment in the sun here. Well, let's just watch it.
vaccinations, because that's how we're going to make it through this winter with the minimal amount of disruption. I'm at the pharmacy today. I just got my COVID-19 booster. It's really important to stay up to date on your vaccinations, because that's how we're going to make it through this winter.
Sorry, I just had to make the stupid music.
And we'll make it through the healthiest. Good to make sure your kids are getting their boosters too. Make sure they're up to date. And at the same time, get your flu shot as well. We know there are concrete things we can do to keep each other safe and make sure we have the best winter possible. That's what we're going to do. I'm at the pharmacy today.
Okay, part of the reason why I have this music going, really important, you have to understand, is he's got some hip hop music playing in the background, and the hip hop music will get claimed, and they'll try to take the whole video or whatever, but this is great music for this. But anyway, he has his little thing here, and what does he do? He goes right from him talking to the camera, talking to that guy, and now he's masked with this guy. So now we're in a medical setting where everybody's got to be masked because we don't want to be spreading. We don't want to be super spreaders, spreading the spready spreads all over the spreading place. But it's just so dumb. It's political theater. It's pandemic LARPing. And I disagree with it. LARPing is live action role playing. It's it's not right. We shouldn't be doing this. But luckily, somebody else took the time to film it in its entirety from a different angle. And this is where I was saying this is getting out of hand. Anyone still buying this BS at this point is doing it voluntarily. Pandemic LARPing needs to stop. It's got to come to an end. We got to stop it. But let's get some more of that music going.
Excellent. Thank you. We're all taking care of everything, right? Yeah.
So here he is. Haha, great. Let me come over here, unmasked. Let me shake your bare ass hands, sir, with no mask on. And then we'll come over. And hey, just before the cameras get out, just before those cameras come out, let's have a look at this. Oh, hey, let's get our theater props on. You brought your prop? Okay, I got my prop. Hey, let me tell you about this thing, and let me make sure I'm facing the camera in just the right way with all my stuff on. Hey, let me come over here. I'm gonna grab this thing for administering something to you. I'm gonna walk back and forth kind of clumsily, and here we go. I got some alcohol ready, and what? We're going in with a 2-foot jab. We're going from 2 feet away. 2 feet away. Here we go. And this is like how I feed my son his Fruit Loops, you know? This is how you feed your kids their Cheerios. Here it comes. Here it comes. It's coming in. Whoop. Poke and squeeze. What? Is that how that... Look at that. That's the face of a satisfied man right there. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Oh, look how happy he is. He's got his astronaut suit. What? Oh, goodness. Here we go. Round 2. Just preparing. Now, are we going to aspirate this one? Are we going to zero in on the muscle? Nope. Just stab. Here we go. One-handed. One-handed. Whoop, ow. Oh, look how happy he is. What a happy trooper. Right here. If that's how they do it, I'm definitely not doing it. Flu Jabubu 2. That's right. Unreal. So let me just tell you what I did. I totally didn't aspirate those because that's not how I was trained to do those. I didn't isolate the muscle. I just went right in there and from a distance, whoop-ow. Normally just throw it like a dart at a dartboard. But for you, special Prime Minister of Canada, I did the 2-foot jabby jab. Anyway, so I got a lot of comments on that one. I thought were interesting. But one one comment in particular that I found most interesting, and I'm glad you're enjoying that. I actually should have done that commentary through the video this morning, but whatever. There's always second chances. But what happens here, and this, if you've been following John Campbell, Dr. John Campbell, he talks about this. He talks about aspiration, why it's important. And I've spoken to some people that are professionals in the field, and some people were trained to aspirate and some people were not trained to aspirate. But I think what a consensus that people have is they isolate with the other hand. So they have the other hand isolating the muscle and then boom, popping it in. But yeah, aspiration I think is important. And the reason why they say aspiration is important is because if you draw back and you get blood, that means you're in a vessel of some sort. And it doesn't seem like a likely scenario, but in some medical professionals say that you must do that. Dr. John Campbell being one of them, saying that it's common practice to aspirate so that you know that you're not in a blood vessel, because if you inject into a blood vessel, it could be very bad news. Very bad news. So you want to go into the muscle tissue. That's the thing. And I'm only getting this from professionals in the industry. But there was a comment on my video this morning about this. And this is from Rhiannon, ASMR Tingles and Tarot. Okay, that's an interesting name. But as someone who is trained in giving injections, I've never seen free hand punctures like that, ever. The video where he supposedly gets his first injections is also suspect. None of the procedure looks like the way people are actually trained to do it. You need to landmark with the opposite hand. So landmarking is, grabbing, knowing where you're going to be hitting and grabbing the muscle. There should be some sort of aspiration to make sure. I don't know if there is more to it. I can't see more of it. Oh, wow. Hold on. To make sure. Hold on. I had to zoom out for that. You need to landmark it with the opposite hand. There should be some sort of aspiration to make sure you have not hit a blood source. But this diving in from 3 feet away is weird and is unique to these staged photo ops. So him calling it a photo op here, which and a lot of people jumping in violent agreement to that statement. But this is, it's interesting because I've been following Dr. John Campbell for some time because I didn't think there was many reliable sources on news about stuff during the pandemic, and luckily found Dr. John Campbell and listened to his talks on a daily basis, every single day throughout the pandemic on what was going on. And he said so many times after the vaccine was released that it was really interesting that some pharmacists and paramedics and doctors and whatnot had not been trained to aspirate. And that's an interesting factor to play into things. Now, that's just getting into that. I'm making fun of Trudeau for his stupid thing, but it's about the theater that really irked me in this whole showing. It's the theater of getting in and having the handshake, the old howdy stranger. Here's my bare hands. And there's my bare face in close proximity to you. But just before the cameras come out, can we please get our political theater props out and have our masks on so that the photo op, which you can clearly see the lenses and stuff in the shot, are taking this and putting it out in the right image that we want to put out there. And it drives me nuts because they're pushing further this idiotic thing that's pushing people into this division. And this is why we still have people advocating for mask mandates. It's crazy. It's crazy at this point. People are advocating for bringing back vaccine mandates. Why? Why? No other country is doing that. Nowhere else in the world are they doing this. They're not bringing this stuff back. Yet there is a strong force in Canada that is trying to bring this stuff back. And yet, at the same time, they're asking for amnesty for the wrongs that they did while they were freaking out about the pandemic. And while we have that article here, let's declare a pandemic amnesty. Let's declare it an amnesty for all of us that did bad stuff. Amnesty. Amnesty for advocating for people to lose their jobs. Amnesty for people saying, I hope they all die. Amnesty for people having their grandparents locked up in these homes, not able to see their families, not able to see their loved ones. Amnesty for running rackets like, oh, you can open your store, but you can't open certain aisles of it because those are not necessary items for your life right now. Amnesty for telling people they can't go to a hospital because of their medical decisions. Oh, but if you want to go to the liquor store, no problem. No problem. All the liquor stores are open, but you can't go to a pharmacy. Unreal. Unreal. This stuff. And what? Because we were in the dark. We were in the dark. Is what they say. Obviously, some people intended to mislead, but they were made wildly irresponsible claims. Remember when the public health community had to spend a lot of time and resources urging Americans not to inject themselves with bleach? You spread these lies. Nobody said inject yourself with bleach. That was a lie. You want amnesty for that, and yet you're still going out there saying it? People said, and some people even believe this, like people who are just like indifferent to the whole thing. Person at my work, I mentioned something about Joe Rogan, and she was like, oh yeah, he's the guy with the horse paste, right? I was like, oh my God. The propaganda gets to even decent people that are otherwise not scathed by stupidity, but it got out there. Oh, okay. So a miracle drug that was fantastic and was used for all kinds of things across other areas suddenly is awful, evil. You can't recommend it. You can't do it. No. There is no treatment for this thing. We won't allow it. There's only vaccination for it. You can't treat it. And they want amnesty for this. They want amnesty. Insane. Given the amount of uncertainty, almost every person was taken on every topic, and on every topic someone was eventually proven right. And someone else was proven wrong. In some instances, the right people were right for the wrong reasons. Were they? Were the wrong reasons after they were kicked off social media, after they were told? I'm talking like scientists. The Great Barrington Declaration. People were ostracized for being a part of that. At first, do no harm. Completely ostracized for this stuff. And you won't come out and say you were wrong. Oh, but some people, well, I was wrong, but I was wrong for the right reasons. And those people were wrong. They were right for the wrong reasons. What are the wrong reasons? What are the wrong reasons? Are the wrong reasons because you don't follow what everybody tells you and you look at the data, the science? You consult physicians that actually look at, that are professionals in their industry and won't be intimidated and will speak out. What are the wrong reasons? What are the wrong reasons to be so right? Because I followed a lot of people who were very right about this, and I don't see what the wrong reasons were, except to say that they spoke out against the establishment. You know who else spoke out against the establishment? Galileo. Are you a flat earther? You know what I mean? Is Galileo a bad guy because he went against the orthodoxy? But he was for a long time. We all know that was the for the right reasons. In other instances, they had a persistent understanding of available information. Yeah, that's called being right. The people who got it right for whatever reason may want to gloat. No, we want apologies. Those who got it wrong for whatever reason may feel defensive and retrenched into a position that doesn't accord with the facts, like this article. Like this article entirety. All of this gloating and defensiveness continues to gobble up a lot of social energy and drive the culture wars, especially on the internet. These discussions are heated, unpleasant, ultimately unproductive. You need to be more productive. Like building a business and then having it taken away by some prick like this. Oh man, there is a lot to account for that took over, that happened in the past 2 years. In the face of so much uncertainty, getting something right had a hefty element of luck. And similarly, getting something wrong wasn't a moral failing. It was a moral failing. At first, do no harm. That's the Hippocratic Oath. It is a moral oath. That is a moral oath. Treating pandemic choices as a scorecard, which people racked up more points than others, is preventing us from moving forward. I just don't agree with that. So this person wants a pandemic amnesty for everybody. We gotta forgive and forget. The standard saying that those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. But dwelling on the mistakes of history could lead to a repetitive doom loop as well. What the hell is a repetitive doom loop? No, that's bollocks. What we have here is the actual standard of forgetting history. We are doomed to repeat it. And you know what? We forgot history. We forgot history. These people forgot history. What is your doom loop? Your doom loop is you forgetting the history that we had throughout other times in our history. I don't want to sound like some person, you know, Godwin's law. Everything I don't like is literally Hitler. But there were other times, and it wasn't just that time in Germany where they made terrible mistakes, getting drummed up against other people. It did happen in other atrocities. Let's acknowledge that we made complicated choice in the face of deep uncertainty, and then try to work together to build back and move forward. Sounds like a campaign slogan. Build back better. But forgive me. Well, there's no forgiveness without an apology. I'm sorry. You're not going to get a forgiveness without an apology. But this is where we are with this. And it's absurd. It's absurd because these same people that are calling for an amnesty are the same people that are calling for more mask mandates, more vaccine mandates. Bring it all back. Govern me harder, daddy. Jeez, Clyde, you're just not looping your doom enough. Oh, no amnesty. You get a scarlet letter. Brought to you by the WEF. There you go. No, I don't think that there should be amnesty. And I'm not preaching no forgiveness. I'm absolutely not preaching no forgiveness, because at some point we have to come back to a civil society. But that comes with apologies. That comes with retribution. It comes with people seeking damages. A lot has happened in 2 years. And people deserve much better than amnesty. I want amnesty for what I did. No, nobody deserves amnesty. They deserve responsibility for their actions. Absolutely. We have Rupa Subramanya saying, the foundation of medical and public health interventions should be that they work, not that we have sufficient evidence or insufficient evidence to say whether they are harmful. Continued mandatory masking of our children in schools fails this test. This is brought by Toronto's top doctor in an article that she wrote. I believe she wrote in The Atlantic. Imposing on millions of children an intervention that proves little discernible benefit on the grounds that we have not yet gathered solid evidence of its negative effects violates the most basic tenet of medicine. First, do no harm. And that's what I was talking about, the Hippocratic Oath. It's just absolutely insane to me that this is... I'm missing super chats. I'm sorry, guys. I get on a rant, and this is where we go. But Basil, the Pumpin' Seagull, I got it right this time. The $2 super chat. We can start forgiving when they stop destroying us. Exactly. So here they are actively advocating for more measures that have known harms. Absolutely, known harms. I talk about it in my videos. I still get this warning. And I'm not telling people what to do at all. I'm not telling people what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. But I still get this warning. You were talking about the thing. And we can't have you talking the wrong thing about the thing. What? What? We're still talking about that? Here we go. Western Sander, this comes as Nanos' poll finds nearly 80% of Canadians would support a return to masking if deemed necessary. Is that right? Would they support that? Federal health officials urge Canadians to wear masks. Federal health officials are pleading with Canadians to wear face masks indoor to continue following public health guidelines as hospitalizations continue to rise. We were told these things before. And then Freedom of Information Act requests showed that the hospitalizations did not, in fact, rise. They fell. That's what happened here in British Columbia. They fell from pre-pandemic times. There was less people in the hospitals. Although no individual layer of protection is perfect, when used consistently and together, vaccine plus layers can provide excellent protection against COVID-19 as well as other infectious diseases we may encounter. Canada's Chief Public Health Officer, Theresa Tam, super reliable lady, Tammy, said during a COVID-19 update on this Thursday morning, Tam encouraged Canadians to stay up to date on their vaccines. That's the new language they're using. It's not fully vaccinated anymore. It's up to date. And flu shots. Interesting they haven't made those mandatory yet. To keep good hand hygiene and wear well-fitting masks in areas with poor ventilation or where physical distancing is not possible. If it has been 6 months since your last okay, whatever, keep going. Tam's warning on masks comes as recent Nanos poll finds that 7 in 10 Canadians would support a return to mask mandates if deemed necessary by health officials. According to the poll conducted by CTV News, because they're great, right? Didn't they do the one 80% of Canadians don't like a conservative leader that wants that would support the convoy? And then it was a record turnout to vote for Pierre Poilievre, which is what they were trying to slander him for. 80% of Canadians. 80% of Canadians. That's what they had. Let's get into this. Responded saying that they would support the return. 52% of respondents said that they would support the return of mandates. 17 said they would somewhat support. And 22 said they would be against them. And 8 would be somewhat opposed to their return. In Ontario, Doug Ford said Wednesday, masking remains voluntary for now, but Ford cautioned he's following the advice of Ontario's chief medical officer, Dr. Kieran Moore. Well, I said it from day one. I'll always listen to Moore's advice. And the advice he's giving, said Ford. Sorry, I'm doing the licking the lips. I'm sure he was eating something while he was saying this. Have you seen the guy? But Ford, I'll give them the same thing. Wearing a mask when you're within risk, Ford said. Ford added he intends to get the flu shot and a 4th dose of COVID vaccine mandate. Old guys like me, I'm not chancing it. as he finishes a box of donuts. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. Why can't I believe it? Well, because other people are polling on this stuff. Other people. Hey, CTV News, your agency conducted a mask mandate survey on 1,084 people, and 1,733 participated in my survey. Let's see the results. I don't have enough resources like you right now. Otherwise, I would audit your survey. Stop spreading lies. We're coming for you. Power to the people. This is Palminder Singh. CTV says they conducted a survey and a majority of Canadians are agreeing with their indoor mask mandates. Are you? Here we are. No. An astounding no. No. Now, if you want to wear a mask, that's you. That's on you. But you're not forcing people to do this again. No way. And Palminder Singh, give him a follow on Twitter. An awesome account to follow. He was one of the guys, the Seek for Truth dudes. Amazing. I'm gonna try to get him on this channel. I'm gonna try to talk with him. I know he's been following the inquiry as well, so I'm gonna have to get into that. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm missing out on the chat. I get into these rants, and this is where it takes me. But these are the things. We're not gonna forget it. We're not gonna forget this stuff. We're not gonna forget this. This is not something we're gonna forget. No. This was coercive. This was intrusive. It was BS. I can't even look at this guy. What else? When Granny was, we couldn't visit Granny. This is what the doctors were doing. Oh, we're overwhelmed. We can't have anyone come in. We can't do cancer screenings right now. We can't have people come in because we got to be prepared for what might happen. I can't even watch this. I can't even watch it. It makes me mad. I'm sorry. It makes me mad. Redneck with a $2 super chat. Tam is a lady? Not sure with that apple honk. Too funny. Thanks, Redneck. AJO with the $6.99 super chat. Every mainstream media article on the mask thing I saw today had a comment section that was 100% against remasking. Don't fall for the PSYOP, people. Yeah, it's garbage. But yeah, those people that were dancing in those intensive care units and dancing in the hospitals, dancing in the emergency rooms, they weren't the people that refused the medical intervention. No, they were all fired. They were all fired. And they still haven't got their jobs back. That's where we're at. I believe there was some news on that though. 1 second here. tables might be turning. Maybe. Why? Because we have this news. I haven't read it yet. Oh my God, I actually cannot believe this. City of Windsor votes to revoke vaccine policy. City of Windsor votes to revoke vaccine policy. The City of Windsor says the time is right to revoke its vaccine mandate for employees. Ward 9 count. I don't know what that stands for. Mackenzie brought forward a notice of motion on Wednesday to revoke the existing policy, which requires staff to be vaccinated with 2 doses of a government-approved vaccine. The motion asks the policy to be revoked in the light of the changing landscape around COVID-19. The council vote in favor of Wednesday's was unanimous. Joe Pipito. I gotta show this on screen. Chickens and lollipops. Gotta go. Thanks for the $6.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. Awesome. Ward 9 counselor. That's what that stands for. Okay. Thank you very much. So the vote was in favor on Wednesdays was unanimous. We've come to a point where the policy as it currently stands is no longer meeting those objectives that it was intended to meet, Mackenzie said. I brought forward the motion for us to revoke that policy in order to allow for the work of our workplaces and community to frankly move on. Well, we need to move. We can't just move on. We need to compensate those people that were let go. A lot of them 2 years late. Come on. A lot of them went off and got other jobs. There are a lot of people that still to this day cannot work in the medical field because they refused. This is just absurd. It's absurd. And we're struggling. Our healthcare system's struggling. I mean, this whole stream's gone down. I'm sorry, guys. But that's I get really frustrated because this is the stuff we saw during the pandemic. Toronto Star. I know they're one of the worst out there, but this is something that was actually a headline on their newspaper. If an unvaccinated person catches it from someone who is vaccinated, boo-hoo, too bad. If I which they did say that you wouldn't be able to catch it or spread it. And then they backpedaled on that. So that was a thing. So I have no empathy left for the willfully unvaccinated. Let them die, this says. This is a national publication, the Toronto Star. This goes all over Canada. Come on, Clyde. I don't know which direction you're telling me. Come on. I honestly don't care if they die from COVID, not even a little bit. These are all sentiments. Simmering divide over who isn't vaccinated. No jab could mean no job for Air Canada employees, and that remained to be the case. Love your passion, Clyde. I love your passion. You got to be kidding. I love your name, too. Absolutely. Proud of Clyde for doing something. I compelled you, so you can, too. Yeah, sorry. I get so heated about this. Because it just keeps on going. This is what Doug Ford said about whether mask mandates were returned. Actually, what he said was in that other bit. Licking his lips. New meme in the Discord for you. Uh-oh, is it spicy? Am I gonna be able to show this? I don't know. I don't know if I can show that. Sorry. I got to review it before I can. Okay, actually, that's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I can't show the whole thing. My web browsers. Messed up. Okay, this is from. I'll just back up a little. It won't let me go. Oh, there we go. We didn't know. We were in the dark. We were scared. If you don't know, this is from an anime. I don't forget the title of the anime. It was called like something the horrible, and it's about this little girl who becomes like the most brutal dictator, essentially. And really good anime though, really good. Redneck with a $2 super chat. Someone is doing something. Yay, honk honk. Exactly. Somebody's doing something. That's what I thought was so awesome about the convoy is it was a lot of Canadians. And I hate to say it, but I think a lot of Canadians just kind of sit on their hands and don't do a thing. You know what I mean? They don't do stuff. They just complain about it and then don't actually do anything about it. Don't raise a fit, don't raise a fuss. And the convoy was a time where I was like blown away at everybody who's just a normal everybody getting up, getting outside, supporting the truckers, waving their flags, and donating to the cause. And I love it. During Tamara Lich's testimony, it was put forward that, I believe it was during her testimony, it was put forward the concept that giving to the convoy was mostly, for a lot of Canadians, their way of just showing support. Like, it wasn't there for like a particular do this with the money. It was just an act of protest in their own right to say, I'll put my money where my mouth is, you know? This is a cause that I agree with, and I'm just going to put that in there just to show that there's more support. And when it grew to $10 million, that just showed, because people were infuriated. The prime minister getting up and saying that this was a fringe minority of people with unacceptable views. No way. The Canadians got up and in a beautiful voice got in there and said with their money that this is something I stand for. And that's a beautiful thing, because anyone can get on social media and say their thing and say whatever, but hundreds of thousands of Canadians donated money to the point where there was $10 million donated. And when they got rid of the fundraiser, they donated $10 million again. They said, screw that, we're raising that money. The money ended up getting sent back to the Canadians that donated. All that money ended up back in their hands. But it was the act. It was the act of donating that was that protest. And it was a beautiful thing. And we cannot forget what happened there. So we're hearing in the inquiry, we're hearing, bickering amongst people, and there's, these people did that and this was that. And I loved Tamara's message. It was never about them. It was never about that. It was about the movement of people in one direction. It was people saying, we're not having this. The government's not overreaching anymore. We're not going to allow this. And we're going to stand up together as Canadians. And it's not about what party you're from. It's not about what race or religion or creed or ethnicity, or is there any other dividing factors? I mean, it's not about any of that. It never was. It never was. It was about Canadians coming together and saying, this is not us. This idea of locking people down and separating them from their families and ruining businesses, this overreach that the government's been doing, finally, somebody stood up and is not allowing it. And I'm getting behind that. Redneck with the $2 super chat. Trudeau is mad because he can't get 10% for his election. No, he can't. People don't want to donate to him. Screw that. And that's why they don't want a no confidence vote. That's why Juggy McJuggerstein over there, McJuggernuggets, Jimmy, Jimmy Dhaliwal is happy to keep that going. And you know what? Every time I have a clip of Jimmy and I don't show it because I blab on about other stuff, but I want to get on this. And I know it's past the 2-hour mark, but I'm going to give you guys another bonus 10 minutes at least or so, because I gotta get on this. I gotta get on this. This is Jimmy McJuggernuggets, Jimmy Dhaliwal, getting on YouTube to say his piece about something that's just trash. What are you talking about? Oop, putting on music. What am I doing? Let's get him up here, because I don't want to be the small guy on the screen. He can be the small guy on the screen this time.
You're probably wondering what the heck is greedflation and why.
If you couldn't hear that, it's because he does this weird thing where he talks under his breath. But he said, "What is greedflation?" Greedflation. It's not a word.
What the heck is greedflation and why should I care? It's what's driving up the cost of living, groceries, gas, and literally everything else. It's inflation driven by corporate greed, aided and abetted by establishment liberals and corporate conservatives in Ottawa.
Okay, so right away, that's just stupid. I don't know how else to say that. It's inflation driven by corporate greed and conservatives. It's inflation driven by corporate greed and conservatives. It's not inflation. Inflation is a monetary phenomenon. All the people in economics know this. All the people, unless your economy is just going down the drain and you don't have no more capital. Deflation is something that comes about because more goods and services end up on the market, and those goods and services are chasing more dollars. But the fact is, a monetary phenomenon known as printing more money. Printer go burr, money printer go burr, right? Of course, the president, the CEO of the Bank of Canada said, "Well, it's not actually a money printer. We don't actually print money. Here's what happens: we're not money printing. We just issue new lines of credit." It's like, okay, so virtual database of how much money is out there, go burr, same thing. So you're just printing a whole lot of money, and he's coming up with these dumb names. Greedflation. Well, how has greedflation happen? Well, let's hear his explainer of how greedflation actually happens right here.
One of the major drivers of inflation is corporations making record profits by hiking up prices far above the cost of production, meaning CEOs are using the cover of inflation to take more money out of your pocket and stockpile their wealth.
Stockpiling. This is this weird thing that we see a lot, and you see it a lot from like the socialist types. They'll say that money's stockpiled. They're just hoarding all the money. They got their Scrooge McDuck bin where they jump in and swim around in this money and nothing ever happens with it. For one, that's a flawed argument. Money that comes out, money that is put in savings or whatever is lent out to other people. It's put to use. Nobody's sitting on money, on a big mattress full of money. It's not something that actually happens. But the other thing is, they're not just raising prices artificially. If anyone raises prices artificially, what happens there? What do you say it in the chat? What do you think is the first thing that happens when somebody raises prices artificially? Can I get any guesses? Because what's going on in a marketplace where you're selling something and you go, I'm just gonna make it more expensive. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it more expensive, and then everyone's gonna have to pay me more money, and then I'll get super rich. That's what's gonna happen. Nobody's gonna possibly stop buying the products. Or maybe people aren't possibly gonna have lower demand for that product, Or maybe possibly, stop buying. There's gouging in there. Where's the word I'm looking for? No, scarcity is not going to happen there. What's going to happen? There it is. There it is right there. Competition enters the market. People go, hey, there's money to be made here. If I just undercut that guy only even a little bit, and I can still get into a margin where that's profitable, whatever, people will come to me over that guy. And it doesn't have to be the whole, because he's blaming grocery stores, right? It doesn't have to be the whole grocery store chain. All you got to do is open up a produce shop that all you do is produce. All you got to do is open up a shop that all you do is cereals and boxed foods. You know what I mean? You just buy it from a wholesaler, open up a little shop. There's not a lot of overhead there. Well, I mean, there's a lot of overhead in buying the products, but you're a retailer. It's the same as any other thing. So when you price gouge like that, and it's artificial because you're just raising prices artificially, people come in and they'll undercut you very quickly too. And especially with Amazon, they'll jump in on Amazon and they'll undercut you in a heartbeat. And before you know it, your greedflation doesn't work anymore and the prices go down. So obviously he's got this a little bit messed up. He's a little bit on the losing side of this argument already.
It's why corporate Canada is enjoying a 70-year high in record profits. It's why corporate groceries made $3.5 billion in net profits in 2021.
Ooh.
It's why 7 big oil and gas.
Well, they made a lot of profits, I think, because big grocery, when a lot of other people were told that they can't run their business because of the measures that were taken by the federal government, a lot of big businesses did quite well. And that is a fact. That is a fact. And not only that, they got a lot of subsidies from, you guessed it, the government. Same guys that are saying this stuff. And another thing that might make groceries a little bit more expensive, well, union labor. No joke. And I know there's people out there that that are in unions and stuff. But here's the thing. If a person stocks shelves at a grocery store, comes out of high school, they start stocking shelves at a grocery store, here's the normal transition from this. They'll normally do that for a bit and then try to advance either within the company or better themselves and get a job, learn some new skills, take that experience, use that, put it on their resume, get another job, upping where they are in the whole grand scheme of the economy and the hierarchy of jobs out there in the world, right? Or in the economy. And bettering themselves, bettering everybody else, generating profits and all that stuff. And then opening up a position for another young buck, 18 out of high school, to take that job and do the same thing, right? But a union gets involved. A union gets involved at this grocery store. And no, you're part of the union now. You're guaranteed a raise after every X amount of days, every X amount of hours. Now you can never be fired, even if you do a terrible job. And here you are. But guess what? You can't excel. You can't grow until somebody at the top retires and then the whole ladder shifts. That's how it works. It's wait your turn, not show how good of an employee you are. No, it's about waiting your turn and then you get to be next. Okay, let's all get on the ladder of who's next in seniority, right? And then they'll hold on to that job. And then 30 years goes by and he's not a grocery store stock shelf guy anymore. He's the supervisor of the grocery store shelf stocking. Now he's moved up one position and now makes too much money to quit and advance in the economy and do better. The stagnation that happens because of unions needs to be discussed. And it's guys like Jimmy Dhaliwal, Jagmeet Singh that do not want to discuss this. And I think that it should be really, really put out there that there's a lot of stagnation that happens because of unions. And I'm going to say this, there's not, unions are not all of the problem. And a lot of people want to blame the unions for everything. But the thing is, unions had a place. Unions definitely had a place. They were there to bring better working conditions. They were there to bring a lot of things. It was really, really bad at a point, like the whole Pinkerton's time and a lot of this. But unions, they enjoy a thing that we need to understand, that if they didn't have this protection or they didn't have this special immunity, and it was given to other people, like if businesses had, what's the special protection that I'm getting to is called collective bargaining. So collective bargaining is granted to unions and unions exclusively. I can't get together with a bunch of guys and collectively bargain if I'm not in a union. So even as like not union employees, if you collectively bargain, that's against the rules. But if you're a union, you can collectively bargain. Now, if companies collectively bargained with each other about fixing prices, for example, like trying to fix the price of labor, that's called a cartel, and it's illegal. There's a competition bureau that's devoted to taking that down and making sure that doesn't happen. Jimmy Hoffa started my union. Is that the Teamsters, right? Yeah, it's a big ass union, and big union. It doesn't like me talking about this, right? Because they've turned into a political party of their own, all these unions. But let's not kid around. The guy who's in bed with the unions does not want to talk about unions. He wants to talk about big groceries to get us. It's the greedflation.
Gas companies posted profits amounting to $23.6 billion.
Well, I'll tell you a little something, right? If the money is being inflated, not by greedflation, right? Dumb. It's not even a good catchphrase, but if the money is being diluted and companies are making profits, you would expect that the profits would go up with inflation. The number of dollars coming in, because the dollars are worth less, not worthless yet, but worth less, would be more. There would be more of them. Now, one thing about the grocery thing that people don't understand is how much overhead there is in grocery. And Jimmy McJuggernuggets really loves to go after big grocery, the big grocery. And they've got their CEOs made $1 million last year. $1 million is not a lot of money. I'm not going to lie. Like, in the grand scheme of things, if you run a business, the CEO of one of the biggest corporations in Canada making $1 million is not a lot comparative to all the other stuff. And it's really funny when you get a politician rolling up in his Bentley and with his Rolex and his Gucci suit and saying, these guys are greedy. You know? Like, how did you get all that? How did you get all that, public servant? How did you get all that? But big grocery, as it is, has very, very, very small profits per unit. It's tiny. And they have a lot of overhead. They have tons and tons of overhead. They have a lot of expenses when it comes to, you ever go into a grocery store and you can see? Yeah, it costs a lot of money to light those places. Most of those are sodium bulbs that require a lot of wattage to keep on all day long because of the high ceilings and all that stuff. And a lot of things have been switching over. Wobbly Pop's coming soon. I wanted to get this rant out. GST inflation. Yeah. What about carbon tax inflation? We could call all these things this stuff. How about greedy ass politician inflation? How about we can lower our tax bills by paying them nothing, you know? Leave it up to just their embezzlement. which we all know they do. But here we are. Grocery has massive overhead. And here's the risk in grocery. You make an order, especially in an inflationary environment like today. You make an order for a product and you don't know by the time it gets to you what it's actually going to be invoiced at. You see what it costs. I'm not kidding. Like, we buy rice at home. Yeah, I know. Like, Asian wife, we eat lots of rice. It's the thing. Jokes, throw them out there. Get them out there. Get it over with. But so we buy rice by the sacks, like 20 kilogram sacks. And the price of rice has like tripled in the past year. It's insane. So a grocer, Rossum with a 279 super chat, and the stream with a piano play. Perhaps. So groceries with their margins and massive overhead, and what their big surprise when the product actually lands on a skid in their warehouse, they have to guess what the prices are going to be next week, because they're making orders based on what's selling and what they need to order. Now they're making those orders and they're setting their prices. If they don't up their prices like they've been doing, by the time those new orders come in, they get their orders, they just bought it for free, or they bought it for the consumer at that point. Like, they're working backwards. They're working backwards and trying to fight this inflation just as bad as everybody else. And yeah, if you love jasmine rice, I think jasmine rice is fantastic. But my wife's Japanese, so it's always short grain, sticky rice. That's what we eat. But I love jasmine rice. Every time I go for Indian food, I'm just like, oh, the rice is so good. But anyway, so yeah, this greedflation, these record profits is just it's a bunch of, I don't even know what to say.
And it's why working class Canadians are bearing the brunt of greedflation while CEOs benefit. With the blessing of establishment liberals and corporate conservatives, we're seeing a massive transfer of wealth from the working class to a handful of billionaires.
You know what this guy could do? If he doesn't like the liberals that are in power, he's the one guy standing between the liberals and power. Oh my God. You cannot discount that fact. Anytime he comes out and he has any objection to anything that the liberals have to say, it's straight up to him. He could call a vote of no confidence tomorrow. His party would have to follow suit because he's the leader. In their constitution to their party, they have to vote with their leader. So he could call for that. Absolutely, all of the conservatives will vote in lockstep with that. A vote of no confidence. He could make it happen. He is the only guy in this country, the only guy that's standing between Trudeau and power. Cannot forget that. You cannot forget that. And anytime he rails against Trudeau, it's bullshit. Sorry, but that's so BS. You have the power to get in between. You have the power. He's got the power. It's the thing. Oh, God. What a joker.
To stop and reverse the flow of money out of your pockets to a handful of billionaires, here's what we need to do.
Here's what you need to do. There's a whole lot of money flowing out of my pocket right now. There's a whole lot of it. And where it's flowing into fuel. It's flowing into the highest fuel prices I've ever paid. Where else are you paying for fuel? You're paying for fuel everywhere. You're paying for fuel. Guess what? At the grocery store. Because how do groceries get to grocery stores from the farms? They get there on trucks that run on fuel with the highest fuel prices we've ever seen. The highest fuel prices. Why are they the highest fuel prices? Because of this guy and his votes for carbon taxes and his support for carbon taxes before it even gets on that truck. How do we get the food out of the ground and into the truck? Well, we get it out of the ground using farming equipment. That's you. What does that use? Does it use magical pixie dust? No, it uses fuel that's taxed at the most exorbitant rate out of any other country in the G8, in the G20. Greedflation. Government greed. Why? So we can pay for what? What are we paying for? Gender studies? Like, this is where our money is going when we're spending our fuel, this tax on fuel, and it goes into the government coffers. This is, oh, goodness. But yeah, so fuel. And how do we put the food in the ground? That's the same, well, maybe not the same equipment, but the same farm using equipment and fuel. This carbon tax, unreal. And where does all of this money get put? If you tax anything, the burden gets put down on the customer. It's always pushed onto the consumer in the form of rising prices. I can't get over this.
We need to pressure Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre to vote in favor of the NDP's proposal to implement a windfall tax, just like in Spain, the UK, and now the EU. While CEOs have billions of dollars and friends in Ottawa, I promise you, there's one thing more powerful than their money. That's us.
Yeah. Okay, so they're smart. They're so smart that you're gonna impose a windfall tax and they're gonna pay it. I hate to burst your bubble, Jimmy. No one's gonna pay a windfall tax, even if you put it in. Even if you put a windfall tax in, what is a smart business guy gonna do? He's gonna go, oh no, all my money, that windfall of profits are gone. This idea of excess taxes. Excess profit. There's excess taxes. That's obviously a thing. But windfall profit tax. Another tax. We need more taxes, this guy says. But Clyde, you didn't know? A grocery exec gave him a raise that cost Canadians 0.3 cents, just 3 cents each. Oh, I read that. Oh, I need to find that article. Joe, you got me on that. So somebody looked up what Jagmeet Singh was talking about how much this profit was from the CEO, and if you broke it up between any like all Canadians that eat groceries, gonna chalk that up to all of them. You know, when you got to watch out when people say all Canadians and then this thing, because a lot of times it's not all Canadians that do that or pay that thing or whatever, right? You might want to say all households, but you can say all Canadians eat food. So it's a thing. So you broke it up between all Canadians that eat food and how much that it contributes per year to this guy's salary, and apparently it was 3 cents. So each person that eats food contributed 3 cents to a guy's salary, and Jagmeet Singh thinks he wants to take that 3 cents and give it back to Canadians. Bravo, man. Slow clap. So slow clap. Bring people to justice. Get that greedflation gone. Get them their 3 cents back. No, if you bring in a windfall tax, they'll just find ways of lowering how much it looks like they made on paper. They'll open up new businesses, new shell businesses, where they can have more cost of operation, and it'll just go through more businesses. It'll just go through more corporations. It's how this all works. And you know who's gonna hurt on that one? Well, let's take a look. A windfall tax might hurt on somebody who sells a portion of their business. Something like that. You know? Like, this is always the funny thing. Though, when like the Occupy Wall Street thing was going on, and people were like, the 1%, the top 1% earners, blah blah blah. If you sold a house this year and bought another house, got into that, you're 1%. You're in the 1%. It doesn't take much to get yourself in the 1%. Vaccine tax. Whoa. Medical pharmaceutical company windfall tax. How about that? Juggy. Gotta get on that one, man. Gotta get on that one. Absolutely. I think that is an effort worth getting into, for sure. But hey, here we are. It's the end of a stream. Another stream. We went an extra 30 minutes into this one. Holy cow. Want to thank you guys for all tuning in. I didn't even get through my water. I don't know how I did it by keeping my voice. But I added the chat to the stream this time, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that was enjoyable having the chat in here. I'm gonna have to fix a few things because now my whole programs are up to date, but none of the stuff works that I had. So I had to spend some time fixing all of that today. Good thing it was a day off, so I was able to do that. But obviously, glad to have you guys in here, and thank you guys all so much for everything that you guys do. You always watching the videos, always hanging out in the live streams. You guys are too good to me. I really appreciate it, and I want to give it back to you. So this is why I do this, and this is why I like to hang out in the Discord afterwards. If you're not familiar with Discord, you're new to Discord or new to the whole concept, the link is in the description. As always, join the server. If you link your account to your YouTube account and you are a member of the channel here, you'll be a member in the Discord. We're thinking about some new perks for that. We haven't got any yet. Still bringing things together. Still working on it. Thank you, Clyde, and cheerio. Good chat, folk. See you next week, the same time, same channel, and yeah, absolutely. We'll be back on Monday morning. I got some stuff going on. Actually, I'm pretty excited. Monday evening, so it'll be Tuesday night. Gonna have in Jen, I believe it is, who is responsible for the. I'll have to show this on the camera again. I had a bit of back and forth with her recently, but this is the convoylive.com. This is a database where you can go. It's got a street map of Ottawa. It's got all the live streams that took place during the convoy. It has a timeline of everyone that streamed it, and you can go. You can select the time of day, the date, everything, and look at what was happening live, view everything right there, what was happening. It even shows, you can even select to show the police barricades that were put in place at the time during all of this while the convoy was happening. So we had Jen and I were having a little laugh back and forth. Every time I mention the website, it gets really busy on her end, and it gets there's a lot of work involved in keeping a website like this up. So definitely check it out, and we'll be chatting together on Monday night. I think we might do a live stream. I'll let you guys know. But stay tuned for that, and we'll keep you up to speed on all of that stuff. But anyway, just gonna move over to the Discord because I think it's time for some wobbly pops. Everybody,